they can be in this at any moment. They just gotta up their mental game, let their talent speak.
Amazing placement. What a shot.
That was a Yahtzee overhead.
Aspect of mental toughness here that's just so different.
I like the body language of all four players.
Oh, look at that shot! Great hands from Kiro.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the semi-final match.
Oh.
Best of 2 out of 3 sets. From my right, on my right, from South Orange, New Jersey, Alvaro Regalado. His partner from Greenwich, Connecticut, Jose Salazar. On my left, from Brookline, Mass, Johan Durant. And his partner from Natick, Massachusetts, Stephen Mitchell.
Hello and welcome to the 2023-24 APTA Tour presented by Volley. We're live from the Country Club in Brookline, Mass, bringing you the 24 APTA Boston Nationals, presented by Aon. Boston Nationals is the 16th and last stop on the 23-24 APTA Tour, with live streaming brought to you by the APTA membership, the APTA national sponsors Volley and Fusion, and local sponsors Aon, Pure Hockey, Labor, Bully Boy Distillers, Columbus Overgroup, Biega Kilgore Team Compass, Hillary Maddox Team Compass, Crestwood Advisors, DraftKings, FBE Insurance Services, Harpoon, Needham Bank, Norfolk and Dedham Insurance, Pure Insurance, UBS, WAC, and Winstanley Enterprises. I'm Mike Raleigh alongside Brad Easterbrook, bringing you the men's semifinals between Johan Durant, Stephen Mitchell, Alvaro Regalado, and Jose Salazar. Brad, welcome to the booth.
Thank you, Mike. We obviously have joined this match in progress here, so it's 40-15 for Regalado and Salazar. We got Ron Borgatti in the chair, and just do a quick go around here on the players on the court. In the ad court, on the top of your screen, in the deuce court, is Jose Salazar. His partner to his right on the top of your screen is Alvi Regalado. That's our number 5 seeds. And then, of course, newly inducted Hall of Famer Johan Durant in the sort of black navy outfit here in the push overhead to the bottom right of your screen. Johan Durant and his partner Stephen Mitchell, the defending national champion. So it should be a tremendous match out there. Looking forward to this one because we talk about, Mike, a lot of times like style of play and things that you want to work. You don't want to go too fast with when you're playing Durant and Mitchell. And these guys are masters at playing it slow and masters at giving you less. And that oftentimes can work against the shot clock of Durant and Mitchell. And, it's hard to know if it's extra motivation to be winning a national after you were just minted, greatest of all time in the Hall of Fame here at your home club. It's hard to say if it's like it. It's got to be extra motivation, but it's also maybe a little extra pressure too. I don't know if it's going to play into it at all, but we'll see. Should be a great match.
Well, and they if you consider kind of some of their matches, I think they've had 3 3-setters this far into the semifinals. So, I look forward to this match. We kind of have old school, new school here, right? Regalado and Salazar are relatively new to the scene.
Yeah, they're new, but they play old school. Like consistency, positioning, placement and speed, not just heavy cutters and rollers. They slow it down a bunch. Great start for them. One love, couple of missed forehands there from Durant Mitchell as they try to find the range. And you can see there it's a perfect view from Stephen Mitchell, the crowd in the background there. That place is just teeming with people. They're all here to see Johan Durant try for a 7th title, I believe. And it's crazy out there.
Wow.
Love 15.
So, of course, that's Stephen Mitchell serving here. And You know, in this matchup here, we talk about moments being too big, and you were talking about the fact that they're a new
15
team.
all.
They are, but they don't. It doesn't feel like the moment's ever going to be too big for these guys. Regalado and Salazar have been just one moment after another out there working it hard
15-30. Excuse me, 30-15.
adapting to each match as it goes along.
And they're tried and true this year. I think they've won 3 tournaments and gotten finished second in 2 other tournaments that they played together, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, that's a heck of a track record. So, you know, they may be, you know, newer to the game, but boy, they are tested and tried. And, you know, I mean, it really, I've really enjoyed watching these guys play. And I think kudos to them that, you know, all year you've heard people say, well, they're relatively new, yet they are, you know, in paddle years, very, very old, based on their decision making and discipline.
Yeah, and this is going to be interesting. I have not seen somebody yet go after, like, I wanted to see more from Frazier too, those long, low balls into the screen, into Salazar, working him in there. And the screens, he's going for a roller from the
30
back.
all.
Little air. Interesting to see how they deal with the pressure. These guys are great volleyers. They have weapons on all sides. You use your length. The way they volley those kind of, you know, they just hang around and they are able to just put their paddle on the ball. They have great hands. Regalado especially, he's got a great drop volley. Mix it up from a touch volley to an offensive volley.
You know, and I was lucky enough to call the quarterfinal match between Mitchell, Durant, and Christian and West. And Christian and West were able to slow the points down for about a set and maybe a third. You know, where they were, you know, the length of point became very important and they were able to make it and slow it down, but it just wasn't sustainable for them. And, you know,
30,
we had
40.
Johan and Stephen Mitchell just kind of get that speed of point back up and kind of ran through the third set.
Yeah, the
Takes
biggest
a
and
lot
best-
of discipline to pump the brakes.
Absolutely, the biggest and best thing they have is they just, and we were talking about it before in the match, like called Regalado and Salazar. They go into this mode where they don't miss it. And even there, you see, you know, Regalado. It's just an underhand serve. He's just pushing a lob back up. He's like, I'm not going to miss it. I'm not going to hit into your strength, and you guys are going to have to win a bunch of points out here, and that's what they do, almost as well or better than anyone else in the country right now. You know, they'll just wait it out. It doesn't mean they're not going to hit offense, but they're going to make you win, and they're going to make good choices here right there. He's just going to lob it back. So they're going to work the shot clock, whether they can sustain it or not, or whether Mitchell and Durant can find a way to put some attack in that works. We'll see. But in terms of the way to play, they're built for it, you know, because we talk about the way to play against Durant and Mitchell, and they have great defensive skills. They know when to bail.
So, Brad, if you are coaching Durant and Mitchell, not that they need it, but if you were to say, okay, how do we play against Regalado and Salazar? I would, you know, where are the safe spots to hit to on the court, and how would you coach them up?
Well, they're safe spots. I mean, they can drive it off all spots, but they're going to generally play conservative, and then they're going to pick their drives to spot. It's more like you have to be willing to withstand this play, you know, and play it long enough until you get an opportunity to go for the attacking overhead that you want, and you have to be committed to doing it time and time again. You can't actually give them a ton of points because they're giving you so few back. But that being said, I think there are going to be opportunities for, you know, Durant to hit that long, low cutter into Salazar's corner and in there. The ones that go down up don't seem to affect them very much at all. In fact, sometimes they even get drives off them. But if you get the ball low through there and start to spin them around, you can work these guys. The problem is they do keep working your shot clock, and it's kind of like a metronome. You just have to be able to play your shots at the right time without forcing it. When they start forcing it, that's when you get into trouble against these guys. They're actually the ones who are hoping for you guys, and it's sort of vice versa as well. The only time they had any problem with, Frazier and Morgan, our third seeds in the round of in the quarterfinals, was when they actually overplayed their position. And but anytime they did it, they went right back into lockdown mode and just made them beat them. And anytime they did it, they basically took them down. Well, we're going to see this point right here get played out 800 times.
You pack a lunch?
I just had a lunch, so I'm good. But yeah, you certainly could, and you should. You could do the popcorn if you're in the snack mode. And we talk a lot about, players are going to have to sometimes get the net against these guys, against Durant and Mitchell.
Advantage, Regalado, Salazar.
But they're very comfortable in the backcourt, Regalado and Salazar. And I so far have not seen anyone wind them around, back there, or make them feel too pressured. The only thing is, every now and then, just like everybody else, they run into their own issues of overplaying at a time. But in general, they stay right in this mode. And in moments that get big, they're looking for it. They're looking to just lock it down. And that's actually their greatest strength. Here's Durant trying to work him, but he's got quick feet.
And they're right back to neutral.
And then what will happen is, so now they're getting to the zone where they've done it enough times, and you can see both Durant and Mitchell are hanging off the net. And one of the things that they're most dangerous, if you pull the trigger too soon and they can see the drives coming, they close and hit drop volleys. They start to do attacking moves with their volley play. But these guys keep softening up. They push you off, they push you off, they push you off. Then they'll bring in like medium drives like that. But it doesn't matter as long as the other team's off the net. And it's just another way they're kind of working you. Well played. He knows exactly where to go. Good job. And that's what we talk about. Durant has had enough of this, so he goes for more. And then they just transition right in, and now we're just back to where we were, right? So they give up the net right back. Not trying to force anything too much. If they have the advantage, they take it. If they don't, they bail back. As much as we talk about these spin overheads that you can use like that, and it was a great shot, and he does get the error there, we still haven't seen it. It feels like he's going to have to hit like 50 of those, right, to win the point, and that's not easy to do.
And it's mentally exhausting to have to hit and win the point 4 or 5 times.
Right.
And and I think if there were ever a weakness,
Regalado, Salazar.
and I don't even like to use the weakness, but his Achilles heel, Durant's Achilles heel at times can be where he'll get bored out there, right? And at least that's what players, when they're playing them, they try to slow it down so much and just make them hit thousands of balls.
Yeah, that's sort of the step one.
That's a tough ask.
There's only a few guys who try to stay toe-to-toe with them. Guys like, Araya, Powers to a degree, but, and they do have skill sets that allow them to do it to a degree. But anyone who, generally slows it down, that gives themselves the best chance. And you said even, Christian West, they were able to do it for a bit, but it wasn't sustainable for him. In the moments where it wasn't sustainable for him, what was happening? Because I was calling the other match, I didn't get to see any of it.
You know, I think one of the things that ended up changing early in the third set, it was funny. It was right during and after a volley read, and we were talking about he was hitting the balls right into the net, and he did it 4 or 5 times, just like he did there, just on demand. Johan started, aiming for the dead corner, and that seemed to kind of rattle or shake things up a little bit.
Yeah, that's interesting. And maybe if he does find it, he found it there. But that's so far, like the only 2 shots, he's basically hit 2, a good long cutter one time, and that one there right in the nick. And he's been able to get some points. But is hitting the nick even completely sustainable, right? It's not so easy on the other side of the coin.
Right.
So, but that's what we're going to see, and that's going to be the battle of this match. See, that's the one I want to see more of, and beautifully done. I'd like him to move that to a little different spot, more around the first post, so it actually doesn't go to the side, but that's the long one and deep. That is a good one to use. We'll get points for that.
Yeah, almost right through that.
Regalado, Salazar.
Almost right through that left hip of the deuce side player when you hit that long slash.
See, these guys are long and quick, and as quickly goes from one side to the corner, the other corner, and then he's back again. It's really, really tough. And in terms of right now in the game, they might be the best sort of defensive game out there right now. And it's not that they don't have offense. Believe me, they do. They can slide up the wire, attack it, but and their commitment to it, is generally unwavering. You see that he's making them work. I mean, Johan's making them work, but they're still getting everyone back.
And they're hitting really good lobs as well, and when I say good lobs, I mean, pay attention to where Johan's hitting his overheads from. He's straddling basically that service line on the majority of his overheads.
And so far, every time he's sped up the point, made the ball shoot off that side,
They lead the first set, 2
Salazar's been up to
0.
it. So 2 love now for Regalado and Salazar. Great start for them. And you hear the music. I love it. They really got this place rocking out here.
Man, look at the crowd. Just
yeah, it's a special weekend here at the Country Club in Brookline, Mass. And they really did pull out all the stops. Incredible. They're incredible sponsors. You're all going to be treated to a little treat. We're going to have the fellas, Darren Lang from Labor in here a little bit better to talk about his company. He's the CEO and co-founder since 2008. So, right now we got some more Regalado shirts out there. They had the black ones out before. Now they're going a nice little. I'm going to go with burgundy. What do you think? What do you got?
I like burgundy.
No, you mean like burgundy, you like the wine, or you like the color? Which is you like both?
I'd like either. Yeah.
Good on either side. Oh, he still almost got it.
He almost got it.
That's incredible. He went straight
There's
down.
some quickness there.
All right, so Salvi Regalado serving. He's going to actually take a second with his hand. When you put it down on we all know the sandpaper-like consistency of a paddle court. He put it down and he faults there. Still bothering him a little bit.
30.
All right, good start. Opportunity here for Durant and Mitchell to get in this game. And what's funny is, I expect that we're going to see a lot of transition, just because Regalado, he just puts the serve in the box and he counts on his hands. And Durant missed 2 or 3 serves in that returns of the first guy. I don't expect that to return. I think they're going to thump returns against these guys. So that's a tough play to make. Nice touch hands there from Regalado puts it under the net. Now Durant can make it and hit him, but that's the only option he has there. So he's just going to stay back. And wisely, it's a great play. Oh, surprising miss there, and Durant Mitchell on the board. It's time to talk about one of our great sponsors, Aon. And Aon is proud to be a title sponsor of the APTA Nationals and exists to shape decisions for the better. Advice and risk and human capital solutions that give them daily clarity and confidence to make better decisions and protect and grow their businesses. Aon is in the business of better decisions. All right. So in that last game, we saw sort of the Mitchell and Durant returns heat up. And another nick. You might even want to pay attention to how many balls they have to nick in to get these points and how close this is going to be, because it's just not easy, like we said, to win points. And that is the superpower of Salazar and Regalado.
15
They just give you less.
And like that last overhead, you know,
30
where Durant hit it, it's almost like he intentionally hit that ball a little harder than he should to get a drive. And, you know, I wonder if that will be a kind of a theme we see as something we should look for is, you know, will they be intentionally kind of putting balls in positions and baiting Regalado and Salazar to drive the ball just for some engagement?
Yeah, you might be right. You know,
and I'm not talking about.
They're going to get the transition drives, and then they just want the transition, right? The thing that also.
Yeah, and I'm not even talking. Sorry, Brad.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm not talking about that. You know, the really hard
Yeah.
Johan special that climbs all the way back up the net. I'm just talking. It almost sometimes looks like a mistake where he hits it too hard off the back wires, and just giving a drive, a screen drive, you know, to these guys.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that it could be very well a part of it. And just so we're clear on this, Regalado and Salazar, we talk about how much they don't miss, but they can play in transition. They know what they're doing. But it's just a question of whether speeding up, who's going to benefit the most. And he's really working that corner now. That's what we need to see, like him putting them uncomfortable, and yet still they're surviving. So great defense there from Regalado and Salazar, especially Salazar on that point. It's a good flurry, but they got it back to neutral. That's going to get tagged. Oh, slippery Steve Mitchell drive.
That was really nice.
Yeah, he held it as if he was going to lob it, and his paddle was even open. Then he kind of flipped it flat and straight through. It was just beautiful. That's good. That's the cutter that I think will make all the difference. And when I was calling the match with Tyler Frazier, it was the shot that I think they needed to use all the time, and he basically didn't use it one time. And that is the shot that's going to make the difference, the one he cuts into Salazar that bites back into him. Randt using his length. Oh, goodness gracious.
He said, Stephen Mitchell, hold my beer. Let me let me do this.
Incredible stuff.
Oh, 40-30. And he missed that volley.
Yeah, you know, there are some players who can match certain shots of Durant, but the whole combination of the length and the volley, the ability to go from one place to another, people have coined it extendo arm and all sorts of other things. Oh, look at that. He's using the side wire like a pro. He's kicking off it like it's the turnbuckle in WWE.
It's like a wrestler. Yeah, I was going to say.
Well, I remember back in the day, Mark Parsons put his left leg on there all the time. He would explode off, hit that two-handed backhand. Seen too many people do that since. Here's the one, long and cutter in there. That's the shot. That's the one that's going to start making a difference over time. And of course, after these men's semifinals, we're going to go into the women's final. You hope to get in before any weather comes in. But incredible women's semifinal action just before this, and we're going to have the #1 seeds of Elliott and Bursch against the 4 seeds of Halbauer and Nicolescu, and they just played a great comeback match against our 2nd seeds of Conish and Zabori. So incredible stuff coming up after this as well. That is just
yeah, that was quite another nick.
Yeah, and they've had already about four of them, I think. You know, so they're really working those, and it shows them, you know, they're going to need a few of them. Incredible stuff so far in the early action. Again for the neck, right into the corners.
Brad, I'd asked Dave Broderick during the live stream in the last match that if you gave Johan Durant 100 overheads on the volley machine and asked him to hit for the neck, how many do you think he would hit?
Well, that's an amazing question. I can't think it would be that high a percentage anyway, just because it's so, but like, even if he got 20%, that would be insane. So I'll go, actually, well, okay. I guess I'd have to define what do you mean. It's like right in the corner, or it's just within like 3 inches of the corner? Because within 3 inches of the corner.
Oh, I'd say pretty darn close, where it would affect how you would have to play the ball.
Right. Yeah, I'll
you know,
go,
where it would engage both players.
20%, but 20% is an insane number.
Okay.
I'll go to the other side. He's going to. He missed it long. I think if he lets that ball go, it's long. I mean, it's over the line.
It's over, yeah.
And it's a loss of plane.
It breaks the plane of the net.
He's
I
gonna
agree.
have to think about that going on there, but you know, in the moment, it's so hard to choose it, and I like it. They're starting to use some variety. Wow, Durant. He read that play perfectly, Salazar, and still Durant gets a paddle on it. Puts it back. Oh, that is just unbelievable move there from Stephen Mitchell. Paddle in front, punches it down, blitz behind it. Very quick, great recognition, and a tough down-up overhead. And one of the things Salazar and Regalado do really well is use just that push softer overhead deep. All right, so some of the pressure is starting to work now for Durant and Mitchell. And they're doing a bunch of good moves. That's a terrific serve. But they've gone from blitz and move, hard return. You know, they've just given them the kitchen sink. And that's what they're going to need. All right, so I misspoke before. We got official change based on the weather. The women's final is moved now to tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. and the men's finals at 1 p.m.
10 a.m.
So we will not be having the women's final after this today because the weather system is coming in. And it's supposed to pass through us, so tomorrow morning, bright and early, get up here, check out the women's final, which is going to be a great one. You know, it's fun to watch the ascendancy. Halbauer's been an amazing tennis talent and working her way in there, and she really has improved drastically this season.
You know, I called their quarterfinal match yesterday, and it was like she got better and better, a little more aggressive with her overheads, and then I was, you know, just as a fan of the game, was watching that semifinal match, and boy, did they play well down the stretch. And yeah, that'll be a heck of a final tomorrow. And a public service announcement, make sure you we spring forward tonight. So, Brad, make sure you change your clocks, all right?
I will indeed. I appreciate that. And you know me well, so good call. You know, with our even with our newfangled phones doing it for you, got to make that move or at least set your alarm. Regalado, Salazar, the commitment, they're still just playing these great solid points. This has been going on for a bunch of minutes here, and they're still working it. Oh, and there it is. 100 balls later, goes for the cutter on the right ball 30, there, 40. But just didn't execute. He's going for the long, short actually. Spinner to the side wire. All right, coming up very soon, Darren Lang, CEO, co-founder of Labor. Got some great questions for him. Appreciate his support of the event. He's a sponsor here, so it's excited to have him on here. Ooh, that was tight. Great play. Just going right at the nick as well. Has a huge Mitchell forehand. Roller snap. Right, nice play there. Regalado tracks that one down easily. These guys keep battling. And they use their length so well. Salazar and Regalado goes in quickly, and that's a miss there. He pinches up the wire. Typical move there that he makes all the time, just doesn't execute that one. All right, big game here, getting it back to deuce.
And Brad, Salazar is the director of rackets at the Stanwich Club, right?
He is.
In Connecticut?
Yes.
And how about Regalado?
I think he's at Orange Lawn in New Jersey. Yeah, so both guys are director of rackets. And of course, Johan Durant was the director here at the Country Club for 7 years. So again, real special weekend here. It was a tremendous, great speech given by Johan in his Hall of Fame induction. It was funny, poignant, good insightful moments, and a lot of laughs. So it's just a great place to be doing it. it's a real special national. If he can bring home this title, I mean, Sid will be rocking. I'm not sure if it's going to be the same as like parade, you know, that the Patriots got, but he might be close here.
Right.
Might be close. Labor might erect a statue to him.
Boy, it's amazing. You can almost tell that it's all four players feel that how important, you know, this point is based on their discipline and commitment to waiting for the right balls to be attacking on.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Mike. And I was saying before, that's kind of the superpower, you know, for a young team like Regalado and Salazar. They really do know the moments well. Sometimes they'll get a little off script, but mostly they just lock it down whenever it's close. And they make you beat them. And they may lose this, but if they do, it's because they're going to hit another 10 nicks, and they're going to make them work, right? They generally don't knock themselves out of the match. And with their ability to play this great defense, they also still have offense that you have to contend with as well. So, you know, this is going to be the match. And we're going to be out here a good 2.5 hours. And even there, he could have tried to speed that up, but it was lower than the net, and he makes the wise choice. And I don't know how they're going to win this point unless they, again, get a nick or something where they finally hit a really bad overhead and he gets to really carve it. Great volley there from Mitchell. Oh, the let cord. Johan tries the quick drive, but Salazar, he's watched some YouTube videos. He knows what's going on. Great blitz, great recognition, and a good call there from Salazar. Puts it behind him. Oh! Wow. Oh, great fake. He steps in like he's going to hit a sharp chip. Pushes up a lob. To the chip. Just all these things designed just to create a little off-balance maneuvering, and he gets them off the net. And now we're just going to start it over again the other way. Yeah, oh, so slippery, so beautiful. Stephen Mitchell holds that ball, slides it through the middle.
It's twice now.
Yeah, first one on the backhand. Let's do it with the forehand. Just gorgeous. Break point here. Huge moment. This will be a 3-game run here for the defending champions, Durant and Mitchell, to crease. But none of these points, I can't fault any of them. The players are playing extremely well and disciplined. It's just a tremendous shot there from Mitchell. And they're using pace, all of the tricks.
Deuce!
Yeah, and I think, you know, if you're gauging, you know, how well all four players are playing on the court, we haven't had many mental, what I'd call mental errors, you know, where they either hit the wrong shot. You know, the majority of the points are being, you know, either won on a great shot or lost on a failure to execute the correct shot.
Yeah. Oh, pops that volley out. You don't see that often. He has great soft hands, Regalado. Just pops it. All right, another break point here.
Break point number 5 this game, right?
don't know. That's like a little advanced math for me, Mike. I'm going to leave that stuff to you. You do the heavy work.
I remember your math from the charities.
That's right. Yes, when I couldn't add 18 and 7. Yeah, that's in fact a true story. You can see it on the YouTube videos. And then you just kept talking about it for a good 7 more changeovers.
I'm still, it's 6 months later, I'm still talking about it. You kidding me?
That's incredible hands there.
Mitchell got a little crossed up there.
Yeah, but again, great stuff. I mean, this is almost exactly the balanced match that you want to play. Every team's measuring it. They're realizing those. Nobody's forcing, but they're still trying to attack Durant and Mitchell, and they're still trying to speed it up in the way they can. And Regalado are slowing it down in the way they can, and that's a miss out.
Advantage, Regalado,
it's just what it's going to come down to is these little moments. Mitchell just moving to the middle and hammering forehands. Regalado, though, he went to his traditional stuff, but each time it was the same play, and he placed the overhead in the same spot. Mitchell was moving there before he even hit it. He had to place that one behind him a little. Something a little different.
He was just getting them dialed in. It's like they were doing a drill.
Except the only one who got drilled was Salazar.
Thank you, partner.
That's a great ball. What a dig. It's kind of like that slightly annoying, effortless fashion that he takes the ball a quarter inch off the ground and pushes it over. Oh, just long.
Advantage,
Just missed it long.
Regalado, Salazar. Game,
all right, so game for Regalado Salazar. And a quick word about Volley. And Volley is the official sponsor of the APTA for the 2023-24 season. Backed by cutting-edge ball and player tracking technology, Volley is the innovator of the first AI-enabled racket sport training experience that simulates point play. By enabling players and pros to record sessions on the court, Volley also delivers off-the-court player analysis and support, all from your phone. Download the Volley app now by searching Volley Racket in your app store. And for more information, visit getvolley.com/getstarted. And I'd like to welcome into our booth everyone, Darren Lang, the CEO and co-founder of Labor. Welcome so much to the booth, and thank you so much for, being a sponsor of this event. How's it been going with you so far? So good, great. So I just got a few, questions for you, Darren. And how did Labor get its start, and what put you guys on the map?
So Seth and I, I'm the LA in Labor. He's the BUR.
Oh, great, yeah.
Dear friends came together, and we worked for a larger professional services firm, and we just saw a more relationship-based way of going about how to solution to client problems. And ultimately, there's a lot of research out there in terms of technology time and cost being lost. And Seth and I just really, we saw an opportunity to go out there and do it on our own and solve to problems in a different way.
Oh, that's amazing. And what makes labor different, than other professional service firms who can solve the same problem?
Sure. I think anyone can really solve any problem that they put their mind to. For us, we chose to put the human back in human capital. And that's really when you put the human first and you start there.
15
and you end up, it might take longer is our opinion, but when you put the human first, eventually you get the right solution.
Well, that's fascinating. So where do you go from here with all this buzz around digital transformation and AI?
Well, we've got to just keep it simple and stay with the basics. As we say in our tagline, people-powered, technology-enabled, it really starts with the humans and building those relationships and focusing on the best talent out there and focus on those that share our core values and as well as that high EQ that we all need to have, especially in this world of being technology, overwhelmed.
Oh, that's amazing stuff. Well, listen, Darren, we really appreciate you coming in and explaining more about what labor does.
15-30.
We absolutely appreciate you sponsoring the event and being part of this great, turnout here at the Country Club here in Brookline. And we appreciate you coming in. So best of luck to you, best of luck to Labor, and thank you for letting us know more about the company.
Thanks for having me. Really appreciate it.
All right, it's a pleasure. Darren Lang, everybody, CEO, co-founder of Labor.
We have another little overhead right into the neck. Seems one of the few ways that they're able to win points out there.
It's not easy, right, Mike? I mean, having watched this, and you've seen them play a couple of times now, Regalado and Salazar, and it's really their superpower. It's so hard to put them away. They're going to keep going. And do you see anything out here that's been difficult? Difficult's the wrong word, that they should be doing different. Johan and Durant and Mitchell, do you think they're playing the right strategy? It's tough.
Yeah, they're definitely having to really grind and work hard to win the points, and I'm sure this is no surprise to them as well. But I think it really will come down to the ability for Durant and Mitchell to kind of keep that focus. And while the rhythm is the slowest rhythm is going to be set by Salazar and Regalado, and they need to play within that rhythm and with good discipline and kind of patience.
Yeah,
but I don't see it. Yeah, I don't. That was a long-winded way, but I don't see a big change that I would recommend.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, it's easy to say, just hit 7 more nicks, right? Or 25 more nicks, right? It's only just 25 more nicks. But it's not such a simple thing, and this is what they do to you. So you're committed to a grind already. And you have to know that as you're going to battle against Regalado and Salazar. And in a way, that alone is a form of control. Their control. It's sort of like, in a way, Drew Broderick back in the day, you had to be committed to playing a certain way. You could try to find a way to do it, but you knew he wasn't going to allow you to just do anything you want. He's going to slow you down to a crawl. And, ooh, a little tight. That's great transition stuff. But they just are tough to win points against. And he went early to the, some of the attacking corners, but he's still not able to really find that way to actually make these guys miss. Even with a good cutter like that, keep going. It's 10 more balls, and then you got to slow it back down again. You can't hit a cutter on every ball. Now, they are working them, but you get the feeling like Regalado and Salazar, they could do this all day. Just run. She tagged him that time. I personally think it's a good play for them to start using every now and then and play in transition. They got to break out some of that, because if you hit them, they can't get it back. So, you
Yeah.
know, but
Well, and the other thing is it's that fear factor, right? It's the threat of that
Advantage,
shot
Durant, Mitchell.
really will tend to, and we take a page out of what Durant did in his first nationals in 2010, when he was playing against Manseger and Goodspeed. He didn't allow them after that first set to feel comfortable playing in the backcourt. And that's the beauty of that shot, whether it's coming from, as we saw Mitchell hit it, but, we've seen Durant hit it. He's made a career out of it.
he overplayed his hand on that one, lower than the net.
Deuce.
I don't know if he thought he was going to move into it because he didn't really even go at him there. He went around him and into the short part of the court. Dangerous play. He misses it. I mean, this match, outside of the first couple of games, is as dead even as it gets. Started out 2-0 with Durant and Mitchell making a few just mistakes, returns and whatnot. Then they come back game busters, and now it's just settled into things. It's 1 point in the last game. It was do sad, and this is the same game playing itself right back out. Here this moment, both teams getting game points. Question of execution.
Advantage, Durant,
Salazar's
Mitchell.
got that shot. Once did it. They actually want him to hit it, strangely enough. And he's executed enough, and that's out. Yeah.
It's long, yes.
Yeah, confirmed.
Deuce. Advantage, Regalado,
there you
Salazar.
go. To me, Mike, that right there is going to be kind of the story of the match. Who's going to go for one more shot, or who's just going to miss a basic ball? Nothing about that volley spectacular. It's just you're hitting 8,000 balls, you're bound to miss one of them, right? And
Right.
It's sort of going to be the way of the match. These guys, and this, and because of Salazar and Regalado, it's the tempo that they love to play. It's not so easy. It's hard, and it's hard to bait them into anything else. It's warm out. They're hitting for the crease almost every single time. And we talked about how many he can get with a volley machine. Yeah, I mean, I got to say, I don't think he can get 10% in there. It's not that easy. He would hit that in there every time if he could.
I would say, and with the volley machine, the same ball, I'd put him at over 30%.
I don't.
We gotta do a
30. Be fascinating to actually see. I would love to see that. Again, we're dealing with high advanced math here, so I'm out. But the
yeah.
it
So
would be
Brad,
fascinating to see.
30% would be 30 of them out of 100.
Thank
So,
you. I appreciate that.
So you don't have to do that math.
No, you did it for me. That's what I want. That's perfect.
Yeah, right.
So 30 out of 100. Yeah, so it would be fascinating to see, and that's one of the cool things about the volley machine. You actually can start looking at that kind of stuff, and you can practice the things that you're trying to do anyway. Get better at it, because hitting the ball at the crease is something that every club player should learn how to do. How to open it up, move a guy wide with a side back, a little firm, move him into the middle, and once you get him there, take dead aim right at the crease. It's one way to win points, especially at a higher level, where these guys aren't going to miss unless you force them to miss.
Well, we saw earlier too. They hit Johan hit the crease, and it actually popped out for an offensive opportunity for Salazar, I believe.
Yeah, that stuff happens as
so
well.
it's kind of a double-edged sword.
Yeah, I think we're going to start seeing more hard overheads as soon as he gets them. The problem is they actually are lobbing pretty well. And no matter how good your hard overhead is, if you're hitting it from the service line, or back, it's just the effect's not the same. You got to be moving forward into it. You know, and from back
Well,
there.
the big thing is they have a lot more time to see it, right? And they,
Yep.
you know, if he's hitting it from on top of the net, that's one thing. But if he's hitting it from the service line, you're getting about 25% more time
Yeah, there's
and
that.
space to see it.
And not only that, it's when you're closer to the net, you also have more options, which mean they have to maybe respect a drop shot, maybe respect a cut, right? So they might be pressing a little in one direction or another. The ability to just track it down. When you're back there, it's not a lot of fear. You know, you can see most things coming, as you said. Ooh, that's a great one. Perfect spot for that, just inside the first pole. Rolls to the outside low. He has to flick at it. Can't control the pace. Great shot. Wow. I mean, it's just these points. Another
Durant had to go to the chair to get the score. You know, they played such a long point, he forgot the score.
You're absolutely right. If we didn't have this up here, it's very hard to keep concentrating on every individual ball because each one's about 100 points. And I can't say any of them are bad shots. It's well played. I don't know how they can affect more change in these points because I know Durant and Mitchell would love to. The key is they can't do that because the other guys are giving you so little. You can't afford those gifts, and that's what they're doing to you. Another break point here. And he doesn't even bother hitting the return. He's like, I'm going to just do this to you all day long. Most guys would tee that return up. They don't want to. They're going to slow it down and play the right spot. He's getting good at chasing that one down and hitting an offensive drive up the wire. And he's just like been feeding it to him.
You also see Stephen Mitchell just fully committed to covering that one, you know, about what, 4 boards wide with his backhand volley that drive down the line.
Beautiful. And that time you saw a little positioning move, actually an offensive move there from Regalado. He stood in the middle of the court trying to guess a ball coming to the center where he's going to use drop volley or some sort of attacking volley behind him. And instead they read it perfectly, play it down the line. But still, they're so long, so easily tracking it down that you have to go for a wrist shot just to get it around him. And then they get it back anyway. And there's right at just a tail. Takes a playbook out of Durant and cuts the volley right off.
And then it was funny, I think Durant had expected him to cut the first one off, so he hit it into the space he was occupying.
And he read them both perfectly.
Regalado stayed.
There goes Salazar playing it right into the crease too. Letting him know I can hit up the nick as well. And the thing that's toughest about this, it's just such a point. And, you know, any point you win at this point is like a fist pump, but that's a break as well. So kudos to them. And what it amounts to is, as close as this is one way or the other, and it still could go right back to Durant and Mitchell. Durant and Mitchell are playing the way Regalado and Salazar want them to play, meaning this is the tempo they want to play. This is what is best and most comfortable to them. And they're still bringing offense, but in terms of what you want to do, this is what they want to do. It's not what Mitchell and Durant want to do. So even if they're able to take this, it's stressful when somebody is actually controlling your outcomes and controlling your type of pace. And how they're going to change that is actually tricky, you know, because you can go for more, and when they've hit it harder, and he just slams the crap out of that one into the back string just to create some speed and movement. And they're up for the task of transition too. This is the thing. And then once they get through that, then they just slow it right back down again. So, and there's the hard one. They're going to keep it going, and he tracks it down. Maybe they'll get tired, but they don't look like they're getting tired.
Well, I mean, these guys are what, 25 years, 26, 27 years old? They're
Again with the math. Yeah, but
Probably do this all day.
They are young guys, there's no question. That ball is out.
15
Another
left.
lob long. Well, and you are married to the pace that the team.
15
If a team wants to slow it down, to your point, and they're able to hang with you, there's no easy way to speed it up.
Yeah, except
then,
to take higher
that would
risk
force
without
Durant
making
and
mistakes,
Mitchell.
though, without making mistakes, right?
Right. It would force them to start, trying to generate more pace and hit aggressive shots, but that comes with the risk of unforced errors.
Right, and every time they
And in
have
either
sped
case,
it,
then,
every time they've sped it up, they've been sort of, as you said, up to the task. They're chasing down the ones they have to chase down. They put a hard overhead in there, that really slamming one. Other than the one he hit him with, they're chasing it down. They gotten 2 points on it, but that's it. And now they're just right back to nothing. And he's going to do it again, which I totally get, but here we go. Speed, they're up to it. Now go right back at him. I love it.
Well, Brad, you can appreciate this. I had texted with
30 left.
Mike Marino
30,
about
15, sorry.
in his match against Johan and Steven in the second round. It was a 3-setter. I said, "Did you hit any of the hard overheads?" And he goes, I chose not to engage.
That's a fair point. He values certain things like his life,
Yeah.
other things. And you're right, Mike Marino, great, legendary player from years back, national finalist, 2005. He would use that hard overhead, slam it. He played it more like an overhead. Durant kind of hit it more like a slap shot sidearm. But, he would use it all the time. And, as a way to sort of just engage in the point. He chose wisely not to engage in this case, right? Yeah, but they played a great match against him.
What we see is Salazar and Regalado brought that, they brought that overhead back at him. And
Well, that's the thing. They really can do
you
a
got to
bit of
respect it.
everything.
You don't have to fear it. Yeah.
And there we go. Waterfall.
40, 15.
And at this point, they're outplaying Durant and Mitchell. The people who, like Durant and Mitchell, are having a hard time knowing what to do. Now, a lot of it's just they're just embracing what the game gives you. And he's going at the body again. They're bailing right away. And he can't, they're actually getting out of the way of the tag really well. It's almost like he's going to have to anticipate where they're moving into because they're not getting hit. And Regalado Salazar,
5 games to 2.
5-2 up now, so impressive stuff from them.
How does this ball feel? I'm trying to keep it warm.
Yeah, and I think, if you are going to be hitting that big overhead and transitioning back to the baseline, I think we've had 3, Johan's missed 3 lobs long in the last game and a half.
But Durant and Mitchell, when we watch them play, usually if they give up a set, it's oftentimes they're just making a bunch of errors and they've, lost track of what they're doing and they're making mistakes. Here, they are making some mistakes, but they're making them because they can't find any other way to win the points. So here, they've gone beyond the point. They actually were playing perfectly fine within the confines of keeping it in, doing the shot, trying to attack, finding an attack, try to hit at the nick. They have no idea how they're going to make these guys miss. And without the other guys deciding, hey, we'll miss them too. And whenever they've sped it up, it's not like it's bothering them. So at this point,
Right.
you just got to go. Regalado and Salazar are taking it to them. And it's fascinating, actually, to watch a situation like this. Because what I've always said in my entire life, and I do believe Johan's the greatest of all time, is that whenever Johan plays a match or wherever Durant plays a match, he is in control of the outcomes. He either makes some errors or doesn't, but he's in control. He's going to cut, spin, he's going to put you in a washing machine. He's in control. They're not in control right now. The people in control are Salazar and Regalado.
Boy, that's a great point. And I truly agree. And because, it's almost like, to your point, Durant and Mitchell sometimes would go on a little bit of a walkabout, and then they'd be like, okay, we got to dial it back in. And that isn't really the case of what's happening right now.
No, and they put you in back in the old days, probably don't mention them enough, good speed manager, they would put you in a vice good speed manager. It's back a different era game, not spin overheads, a lot less attacking. It's a different era, but they would put you in a vice. They'd lob you, hit a drive, and then these things would constrict you over time. They'd win, they'd get a little up, but once they got a little up, you couldn't get it right back because they just wouldn't give it back to you. So you had to just keep working harder and harder, and that's the boa constrictor method. And it's essentially what these guys are doing to them as well. Yeah, they can go for a smash, but once they miss it, that's just another point. They got to win 100 balls on the next go around. It's very constricting. It's like, you're just getting stuck. You're getting smothered. And, these guys just haven't missed a ball, and they also aren't getting, that's still a pretty good overhead. He's sitting right at the crease. Well placed.
Yeah.
There's a little confusion
from behind the service line.
And stuff like that, they're tall, so you can't quick lob them. Maybe you hit a little lower lob that pushes them up and back. Instead of trying to go for hyper, more push in there and press forward in your position. But, right now, there's a good looking move. But look at those hands. That's out. But that's still great hands there from Regalado, who softly, deftly pushes it to the side. And the worst part about it, too, from my perspective, Mike, is once you start making a comeback, the realization of what is in front of you that you're going to have to do, it's just like you're doing it again, and you got to do it again. And these guys, unless somehow you get them to crack, it's just tough.
Yeah, it's like you're looking up that mountain.
A little bit. Yeah,
and that peak just keeps getting further and further away.
Sisyphean type of ordeal ahead of you. Just keep pushing the ball up the hill. And the script always for Durant and Mitchell is, sure, Durant and Mitchell will make a few errors, but they're going to win so many points with the other shots they're going to make. The drive, the blitz moves, the return of serve, that it's going to be the difference. Here, they're hard-pressed to win points, or if they're doing it, it's just the amount of work it takes to win one. They normally can win a few quickly.
Right, yeah.
And when you dry those other things up.
We haven't seen a lot of quick points.
Yeah, when you dry that stuff up for them, the reserve of points they have to win, it's like triple the amount. And then people have to play. It's sort of like the old days, when Federer first burst on the scene. Sometimes you watch like a good player like Ferrero play him, and it'd be like, but he'd just be like, oh, this guy's, too good. I can't deal. These guys are just like, go ahead, beat us. He's going to try, but there he is again. And that's a tough ball, and then you go for something that's a little more high pressure. And that error, to me, is magnified. It's just another point you got to get back.
Well, the reason it's so important is they're not getting, if they give a free point, on an uncharacteristic error like that, they're not getting them back in kind, and they're not trading.
Right.
And like they're taking one step forward but taking two steps back with an error like that. So it's tough.
Very. But, what's interesting about this whole thing is when you look at it like this, we were talking, everyone makes their picks, for the Nationals, and people were asking me all the time, who do you think's going to win? And, can these guys have a chance? And I said, they absolutely have a chance. From the way they play, they absolutely could win a National. Do I think they will this year? I didn't. But as I'm watching this, I'm trying to figure out how anybody's going to win a point against them.
Yeah.
And the same thing happened with, by the way, in the match before with Frazier and Morgan. Frazier and Morgan, they couldn't figure out how to win a point against them. Unless these guys went off the rails, there weren't any points to be had. They couldn't figure out how to win them. And then they tried to speed it up, or they tried to do one thing or another. They just get it back. Or they'd play a great point in transition. There were a couple of moments where they played these fantastic points, and it comes to transition, and it was Regalado and Salazar actually making the transition shots to win points and to make a difference in the match, not the other way around.
So it was a double whammy.
Yep. No whammies.
Is that how many similar errors like that have we seen in the last 7 games?
Yeah.
2?
If there's another, and here's the moment, right, for these guys. So far, this is like we haven't seen any of it. There we get 2. Boom. So capitalize, get this game, stay in the set, keep working. And these guys, by the way, they weren't immune to doing that from time to time. It would happen, and that would be the moments when, say, even in the last match, you could make a little run against them. But then the moment they did it once or twice, they went right back to the boa constrictor, and they, just went to lockdown mode and didn't miss. So even they will have their moments, because everyone has to have them. You're going to hit some shots, or you're just going to miss a shot, even if it's the right shot. Like that was probably the worst shot he's hit the entire day. Off his back foot, heels, he sees a spot down the line, and they gift that game away. It's the single game they've actually gifted away this entire time.
Let's see how they answer that.
Yeah, well, they've answered it in the past from everything I've seen. Mike, is they've answered in the past by going into lockdown.
This moment is too big for him.
And in the absence of being able to win points, the only recourse really left is to outlast points, right? Meaning you have to work their shot clock. You have to be even more disciplined than they are. You have to make one more ball. You have to bait him into hitting that forehand like he just hit on the last point. And that is something that's generally very foreign to Mitchell and Durant. Saying they can't do it, they probably can, but it's just not normal.
And then you're playing right into, it's like compounding and playing even more so the way that Regalado and Salazar want you to play. You're trying to beat them at their game.
Yeah.
Which, it's a difficult thing to do. When you're playing a different style, forced to play a different style, you're playing right into the hands of Salazar and Regalado, and that's it's a tough task.
It is. But and this is where people say the game's changed so much. Yeah, but it hasn't when somebody's committed to a certain type of play. And they're good enough.
Same. Absolutely.
And they're good enough to deal with when you throw some kitchen sink stuff at them, and they have the athleticism to keep it going. It brings it down to something else.
I mean, we're about an hour into this match, and we played 8 games. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing, actually. And I have Jeff Morneau back here behind me, and he said, you know, it's a sad day when Johan's actually been reduced to hitting Jeff Morneau overheads. You know, so he's actually mourning it as well. Morneau is mourning, but he's also feeling somewhat honored that they're really, you know, using his terrific push overhead that he, you know,
Yeah, no, but
was really good
hit
with
that thing better than Jeff.
15 love.
All right, he does get a ball he can do something with, and he goes for the hard roller. But the funny thing is, it's like 80 balls later, and he wasn't really ready to pounce on it.
You're lulled into this, I don't say it's false sense of security, but it's almost like,
No, there's no
you know,
security
it's
here.
just,
No security.
yeah,
It's-
you just,
30 love.
And you got, and you know, if you can listen to it, actually, you can hear nothing. And he gets him that time, lines him up perfectly, tags him with the
30,
overhead.
15.
But this is a hometown crowd, and we're at the Country Club
right?
in Brookline, Massachusetts, and it is dead silent out there. They've just sort of taken the energy out of the room, and this thing it's just a battle. And even that last one where he plugged him with the ball, you're not getting a round of applause because it's more like, all right, that was one. You got a bunch more now. You know, so it's a fascinating, actually, kind of thing to see. You got a hometown crowd watching, you know, ready to be extremely excited about every cut winner and you know, and we're seeing Jeff Morneau overheads by Johan Durant. But then again, it might be the right move. And tactically, sometimes you got to do what's presented to you. This might be time for like a speech like in Animal House. You know, did the Germans get mad when they bombed Pearl
Was it
Harbor?
over?
You know,
Germans bombed Pearl Harbor.
Right, exactly. Let's say a big speech to rouse the crowd. You know, just get ready to hunker down here.
Maybe we need some, you know, are there any, we could get some cheerleaders out there.
I thought you were going
Get
to
fire
say
the crowd back up.
cheerleaders, Santo Tequila.
Yeah, or some tequila or both.
Yeah, opting for both might not be a bad call. Yeah, and there it is, just the frustration slam. Going for it again, he got one.
40, 15.
Yeah, and this match is, it's getting two set points here. Return there from Durant. And, you know, they've missed very few of those transition balls. That's what they want to see. Here's a little, you can hear some crowd right in there. It's a little spark of life going from 40-15 to back to deuce. 2 set points saved. And Durant and Mitchell are no stranger to three-setters and to losing a set and to actually having moments where they were not, it doesn't happen often, but we're not in control, and they come back and they win it all the time. This feels different, but after the first set, we're going to see if there's any adjustments made or where they can be made. And, of course, it's not over yet.
And I think you're saying it, correct me if I'm wrong, but you're saying it feels different because it's not necessarily that Durant and Mitchell are kind of the ones that maybe have lost a little focus, and they're making some errors. It's more that, you know, Salazar and Regalado have just clamped down, and
Yes.
to use your phrase, constricting these.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That feels different. It's not that just Durant and Mitchell, it's as simple as, oh, we'll stop making some errors and we'll play some better shots. They just are struggling to win any points. You know, how to win the point. You know, it feels different. It's just different. They're not giving points away left and right, Durant and Mitchell. They did on the last one, but that's only because they can't win it any other way. So he's just going to a hard overhead in the hopes of. And when you're playing in the hopes of, it's, you know, it's not something you're in control of. It's, but then again, matches have a lot of ebb and flow, and he did miss a transition ball in the last one, but this is where they go right back into this mode. And typical ways of them getting out of this mode, the hard overhead, the speeding up the point, hitting a cut winner. It's not out there, and they've shown the ability to get them all and play in transition perfectly well, notwithstanding that he missed the last transition ball. He made the 10 others before it. He is taking dead aim at the corner. He's trying, you know. And they're trying, but it's almost like this is actually, in a weird way, it's almost better because they're not trying over and over and over again. It's more like, all right, I'm going to take a spot, I'm going to go. But right now it's full shot clock mode. Too good.
Advantage, Regalado, Salazar.
Yeah, but it's, you know, it's perfectly designed. You know, 1,232 lobs. He's standing on the service line. He finally tees one up. You know, and he's just not ready because there's not enough in between to keep him engaged. And there it is. First set to Regalado and Salazar, 6-3.
Set. Regalado, Salazar, first set. Win 6 games to 3.
We'll be right back in a moment after these messages right here on the APTA YouTube channel presented by My Paddle.
What I love most about the Volley machine is I can come down here and work on my game when I can't find friends.
Volley and I have been dating for several months now, and things are getting pretty serious.
My favorite thing about the Volley trainer is to be able to work on the target, contact window, and tool all in my vision.
Welcome back to the APTA Tour. We're live from the Country Club, bringing you the 2024 APTA Boston Nationals. We're in the semifinals between Regalado and Salazar versus Stephen Mitchell and Johan Durant. Just finished the first set, 6-3. Regalado and Salazar winning it. And here we are, an hour later, a little over an hour into the start of the second set. Brad, as we've talked a lot, this is Durant and Mitchell are going to have to really buckle down and boy, we're going to have to do this for 2 sets to
do it,
to win this match.
Yeah, to bring this thing home. When you think about it in that term, you can't take on that chunk. I don't think anyone could take on that chunk. I'm not sure I could take on that chunk having to sit here, but it's you have to take it each individual ball one at a time. It's the only other way you can do it. And it's small little mountains to kind of climb. And if you're able to possibly climb a few of them, maybe the other guys, you know, they get lost in the woods a little bit. But they don't seem to be getting lost in the woods. You know, and it's as they do this more and more, it's going to prove themselves out that it's going to work, right? And they're going to put the boa constrictor on you, and they're going to squeeze you to death.
Yeah, it is. It's been an impressive display of shot making, but also discipline, and I mean, just out and out. I mean, commitment to a singular plan.
Yeah, but to me, it's almost deeper. Nobody's really, in a strange way, even like, you know, seeing the Broderick's of the world over the years. I mean, these guys have the athletic ability. When you speed it up, it's like they're ready and able, you know, for the quick transition game to happen. Like they're just waiting here and actually kind of waiting for you to bring it out, and then they'll bring out theirs, you know. But the rest of it,
right?
How are you going to win it, right? Where are you going to go? No, just wait for you now. We're going to wait for you now. And they do have an answer for you bringing out your transition game, you bring in your hard ball. They have an offensive shot. It's not like you can just dump it to Regalado and Salazar and they won't hit it. They can hit it. They've shown you they can hit it. He won that last game, that last set.
Yeah.
80 lobs in, soften him up, boom. Finally he hits one right at his feet. You know, they can do the other things. There's the drive. And in some ways, it's quintessential paddle. Lob the guy back, give him nothing, and then take a drive when they're off the net. It's what it is the commitment to, you know, the amount of balls, you know, and the gifts that they're just not giving any of. Welcome into the booth, a little Jeff Morneau action. We were talking about his overhead, so he came in here to defend it, which is actually almost comical. You know, like he's going to defend his overhead. But then he was bringing up some comments that, you know, the ball is it's lively enough where it's hard to actually make the ball end here. Not really, you know, it's tough. But do you see anything, Jeff, that could be done differently here from Durant and Mitchell? Love to hear some of your wisdom.
Yeah, I mean, I've been watching and listening to you, Brad, for the last at least 45 minutes. I've been kind of standing behind you watching this match, and I tend to agree with you that there's not much really that Durant and Mitchell can do. The only thing that I could see is Durant hitting cutters, honestly, to bring.
Oh,
great shot there.
It was a great shot, and maybe you brought in some action there. That was amazing. But
brought in some good mojo, Jeff.
Yeah, brought in some good mojo. But you know, so you're saying he could hit a cutter where you didn't quite finish that?
I did, because that was such a great shot. But what I'm thinking is actually, if he could find a way to hit the ball shorter in the court, a cutter, to bring them forward and then volley behind and get into an exchange with them.
40 love!
Because otherwise, these points are. I've watched the entire time, and when Regalado and Salazar in the back, they have not missed a single ball from the backcourt. They are content to just lob and lob and lob and lob until they get an opportunity.
But as Mike and I were talking about too, they do drive, and they make their drives when they make them. They don't even miss those, right?
40,
those are coming
15.
in, and they make their drives. So it's like the perfect storm of combination. They're not just putting it in play. They're just like body punching. The lob's like a jab. It's like taking 50, 75 jabs to the face, and then they hit you once, you know, like, and then they hit you not. And you might be right about the make it short, make them come in, but I will tell you this from the match that I did before. You know, Frazier was trying to hit undercutters and drawing them in. His percentage rate was at 10%, you know, winning points on that. They were up to that task too. They got up quickly, pushed it behind. Their hands in the exchange are excellent. I'm not going to say they're better than Durant's, but when you hit a short ball like that, the quickness that they get up to it is still fraught with some danger. Meaning even with Durant's hands, yes, he might get a few behind him, but they've been up to that task too. It has been tried.
Yep. No, absolutely. I mean that's one tactic. The only other way is this match is not about physicality. At this point. It's not about who's the most skilled player, who's the most talented team, who's got better racket skills or better forehands or better backhands. This at this point has turned into a mental battle
It is.
of whether Durant and Mitchell are willing to play a 4-hour match. And if they're willing to play a 4-hour match, which we have never seen them do, then I believe that they'll end up winning the match. But I just don't think that I don't know if they're going to be up to that task.
Well, as per Durant's amazing, great speech at his Hall of Fame induction, maybe you should go out there, take this mic off, and tell him, I don't think, Durant, you're able to play a 4-hour match. You tell him he can't do it, and he may do it. So somebody's got to go out there and tell him, I don't think you can do this, because it is a task. It's a Herculean task that's in front of him here. To come back from a set down, and we talked about it, it's not just a set down, it's the amount you're going to have to go through to win each individual point, each individual game. And they have their first lead in any set so far, so kudos to them.
Yeah, and you're seeing, you called it Jeff Morneau overhead because I was sitting here, but when's the last time you saw Johan Durant hitting these push overheads down the middle, really soft, just trying to do a little bit of this and a little bit of that, just kind of move people around without really being aggressive. That's just, that's how I hit an overhead. That's not top level Johan Durant spinners, because he knows the amount of energy that's going into spin, cutter. It's kind of like, Araya in the old days, right? So many, and then, it's not getting you anywhere.
Now, here's a question for you both. What about, transitioning off the net and being committed to not playing points at the net? Where you hit that hard overhead and you transition back.
I don't know about the hard overhead and transition back, because when Durant and Mitchell hit the hard overhead, what they do is one person absolutely stays right on the net and doesn't move, and the other one goes to the back in case it goes through. But that is, I do agree with that. I do think there's another option here for Durant and Mitchell, which is to concede the net and try to get Regalado and Salazar to miss a volley or to miss an overhead. But they have played for so long one way, right? They have never, ever given up the net. They have taken the net. They believe that the net is the way to win. And so, is that something that, maybe some other teams could do? Yes, but I find it hard to, I think it would be a good strategy to try, but I would find it hard to believe if during this match, in this moment, that they're going to say the best way for us to win is, and then figure it out, is to go back to the baseline and try to win with, forehands and backhands and, pray that Regalado and Salazar miss volleys, because they're outstanding volleyers as well.
Yeah, they've certainly been up to the task, but I actually think it's a great idea. First of all, notwithstanding that nothing else has really worked,
30-15.
But it's also a measure of doing to them, to Regalado and Salazar, what they've been doing to you. We're just going to do this to you. You just did it to us. We're going to do it to you now. We're going to stay back. We're going to lob you 8,000. You guys try to win a point, and then we'll take a quick strip. And but they've been up to that task too, but it's at least worth a shot. And if they can beat them doing to them what they did, back and forth, it's a measure of taking some control back.
No, I agree it would be a good strategy. I just don't
think they can,
knowing
even mentally get there.
And just knowing Mitchell and knowing Durant, right? He's just. When's the last time you saw Durant serve and stay back? It's just never. It just doesn't happen. So I'd be surprised if it did happen, but I think strategically it might be a good idea. And again, it would, Brad, it would require that commitment to a 4-hour match, which we haven't. I don't think we've ever seen that out of a Mitchell Durant team.
Not on purpose, that's for sure, and maybe never ever in any way, shape, or form. But there's a good miss. They got a miss there.
They did at 40-15, but you see that Regalado and Salazar, it gets to 40-30 or deuce. There's no chance he's driving that ball.
Correct.
No, he's not even not even going to drive it. No chance. And from the back, they are just committed to keeping every single ball in play. Not really even looking for a drive, and occasionally after about the 90th or 100th or 200th ball, if Durant happens to be standing at the service line, they'll take a 3/4 swing at it. Very low risk, and see if they can get one at his feet and Durant to hit a half volley or something. But it's the only way is to kind of just play this way and be committed to a 4-hour match and say we're better than you.
Well, was it Philadelphia a couple of years ago? Was it Christian and Drew Broderick, where the first 2 sets were 3? Or was it Boston?
That was
Boston. 3 hours, yeah. And then Durant came out with that overhead and just played the next set in about 18 minutes. And
yeah, a little.
But he was able to.
I was there. I was announcing that. I was announcing that match at the time, and it was very similar to this match. The difference is you're dealing with 2 Brodericks on the backside who are faster, and so that pace of play and probably at the time Tomáš Christian didn't have the experience that he has today, but at that time, that fast play worked. I don't see any set with Regalado and Salazar going 20 minutes. I think this is, you got to be, if Mitchell can be mentally committed to playing this style of paddle for 3 sets, I do think at the end of the day they'll win it, but that's the challenge. It's mental, not physical.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Because I haven't had the opportunity because I haven't announced much, but to see Regalado and Salazar play much, but it's clear they are. I mean, you can see just by their body language in the back, right? I mean, they're standing, they're not in the blue, they're not bouncing around like looking to kind of move around and hit a drive. They're standing back there just like, well, I don't care where you put the ball, I'm lobbing it. They're just not even moving. They're using no energy. Ball's coming off the screen, they're lobbing. It's not like some of these other teams, like you'll see Frazier and Morgan kind of moving around and, Morgan looking to try to find a spot to drive a ball. They have no interest in driving anything back there right now. They're in great shape.
Well, in a war of attrition and a siege, these things are, you can take old, terminology. This is a warfare, right? And this is like siege warfare. It's a different type, right? And it's very hard to combat this stuff.
I mean, look at that right there, right? I mean, a lot of other teams would have tried to drive that ball, and it just gets lobbed back, and we're going to do a reset. And, sort of like you said, unless you hit a hard ball into the nick, the point's not going to end. They're not going to miss a lob. They're not going to miss one wide. They're not going to miss one long. They're pot committed to lobbing the ball down the middle. No, they're not even looking to like hit a deep lob and set somebody up for a drive, Brad, right?
Yeah, and again, we've said it before, but that they also do have the skill set to deal when they do speed it up and other things, and they've shown that. They've shown it. They've tried everything out here, Durant and Mitchell, and and that's the trick of it. Is there isn't been an area that they can't. They can do the other stuff. You play the transition, they can play it. You hit the yard over it, they get out of the way and come back in and take the net. They volley great.
I mean, this is
1 point.
This is 1 point, and this is,
And this is what you're going to do
for the next 3 hours.
Right.
Because even that shot right there, right? I mean, that's sort of, I hate this, I don't want to use me as an example, but that's an overhead that I hit into the nick, like it hits the nick, but there's no power behind it.
It's not into the nick, right?
Yeah, it's not going to jump out. I mean, look at what Durant's doing. They're just bouncing the ball in the middle of the court. This is a matter of, who's going to miss first.
Yeah.
That's it.
I mean, there's no question. And in a weird way, this might be exactly what they need, because in some cases, in a staring contest, it's whoever blinks first. But they will do that. And there's the one move. He hit a quick lob low, and he did move in and drive it. And he basically did stand there completely still for the longest time. And then he made the one move 150 balls later, and he made it.
You know, it is, it is actually, I'm not going to say unbelievable, but it's unbelievable. I just don't think I haven't seen a team like Regalado and Salazar that have the mental tenacity to just stay back there.
See, that play I like. Whenever he's hit that hard one in there, he will drive that one ball, get on top of the net, look for the offensive volley behind, and then if he doesn't have it, like he's got to be right on top of the net when he gives them that ball. And if he doesn't have it, just let Mitchell get it from behind and don't worry about it. Lose the net, as you were saying before. Go back anyway. You know, like it doesn't matter. But if they're going to volley, they can't be sitting back here and volleying off the net because this isn't going to get them anywhere anyway. Unless they decide here, we're going to break you mentally, but
It's just not their. It's not. You know, it's not Mitchell.
It's not in their DNA.
Mentality. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, you just said it's not in the DNA. You're right.
Yeah, I was just saying that's not in their DNA.
No.
You know,
and it
can't
shouldn't
change
be.
its spots that dramatically.
It shouldn't be in their DNA. I mean, they've had, you know, a lot of success for a very, very long time without that being in their DNA, right? And there it is, lob, and you know, here it comes again. I mean, this is normally there's transition there. Durant's a little bit off the net. It's going to be very hard for them to say, hey, I think we should go. I mean, Mitchell just hit the nick right there. It didn't do anything. They just are not going to miss from the backcourt. They're not going to overhit. They're not looking to drive the ball and hit like this, you know, smoking forehand like a Powers or you know, a whole bunch of other people that are out there playing. It's just they don't want a Martin Bostrom or a Philippe Rams or any of these other top players. That's the one I like right there.
Yeah, it's the first one he's tried all day.
That's the one. But as you know, right, those are very risky shots.
But here I like it because.
But to Brad's point, here you see, let's see what they can do in the backcourt.
Yeah, just let them hit a whole bunch of overheads, and here they're just going to let it go because they don't care. And now they're back at the net again, which is where they, you know, Durant and Mitchell want to be, but.
No, but they're never in a position to lose, right? So any moment like that drive's coming, that puts them in a position to lose, so they let it go. And it's just, honestly, a smart play, but it's tough because their ability to not lose points just really strong.
Yeah, I actually think he could have hit that, and he probably intentionally did not hit it because they want to be in the back.
Yeah, I mean, there's a bit of that, and also doesn't matter if they're not, and he'd be in a worse shape if he hit it than if he didn't. You know, might as well just wait, take all the guesswork out of it.
You know, I could go back, Brad, and say I do think, you know, some of this longer points. I mean, we got some relatively warmer weather here than you might get in, you know, December or January. But the balls are bouncy, so it's very hard to put the ball away from the net.
Yeah, I would think that we could have seen a few cut finishers, but we haven't seen those either. Like, none of it. And there's no ability to kind of put these guys, we've seen it in the past, from players with spinovers in a washing machine or anything like that.
Love 30!
And, you know, they're just up to the task. You know, a lot of times you'll see a guy, you know, the Arise, the Durants, of course, you know, the guy's ability to spin him in there. Tyler Frazier, when we called the match earlier, we're like, I think he's got the best overhand on the court. Could be a difference maker in a match that looks about even. And didn't put away any overheads. 0, maybe 1. You know, like it was like 1. And anytime he did more with the overhead, it was probably worse than if he had.
That's what's happening.
You know, like, you know, but it's surprising, like, he wasn't able to cut any close. He did 1 where he got it close, and it was a real finisher. You know, the rest were all just hanging up there, and it was not much that might stay in. Oh, good ball. Yeah, I still think this might be the play for them to keep moving it around.
No, they're just going to go back, and, you know, it's basically a reset. It is the play, but, you know, here we go, right? So they're so fast. They just get up to everything. I like this better for Durant Mitchell. I think you're seeing, you know, what I saw when I was just watching, which is easier to do than when you're announcing and watching. The points are being lost at the net by Durant and Mitchell. They're up there, but they're losing the points up there.
Yeah, I mean, simplify it to those terms and stay back then, right?
Which is really hard to do. And you'll see, I think even when you're up here, you'll see that, Durant and Mitchell go for more from the baseline, but you'll see, other than Durant and Mitchell, I think, going for something, Durant and Mitchell could stay back there and do it.
Yeah, no, I think
Regalado and Salazar, they can't put the ball away either.
No, that's what I mean. That's the point is they should do this right now just to do it back to them, right? And also just from the basic metric of they're not winning from the net anyway, right? So stay back, do what to them, get them angry. Yeah, make them play a little more interesting. And they'll do it and they'll go back, but now just go right back though. Here's the thing. Don't stay up there again. Make them come back in again.
You're asking a serving volleyer to become a baseliner, which is, I know it's I agree with you. It's just really hard to do.
Look, we can argue about this, but we already decided this is a mental battle. So that's just a mental construct. You either get over the hurdle or you don't. And if you're not over the hurdles, then you're losing the mental battle that we're talking about, right? So,
Totally.
It just is what it is.
Yeah, I would say that they bring that hard overhead out again.
I mean, look at that. That's just unbelievable.
Great
What a
cutter
great
from Mitchell.
cutter by Mitchell. And then they just went in and get it. Here we go. We're in transition. And there it is. First transition point we've seen the entire match. And Durant pulls it out. The fans are going absolutely wild outside for the first time all day long in this match. We've gone 11 games before people went ballistic, and they finally got some inspiration.
All right. Still 2 break points down. Don't want to raid on your parade. But we got a special guest coming in with Jeff Alpa from, Aon. He's the North American president. We're going to bring him in here shortly. So that'll be cool. He's going to talk about the sponsorship here and plus just all the great work that Aon is doing.
Well, Brad, it's been great being here. I will come back if this makes it to a third set, but otherwise I think I'm going to go out and I'm going to ingratiate myself and the fans, have a couple of cocktails that the country club is putting on over there. There's a great event. There's thousands of people out there, and I'm going to go try to get into the crowd. Thanks for having me, and I wish you the best of luck, and I really do hope this goes 3 for everybody.
Jeff, thanks, my friend. We'll see you out there soon. Go and
Take care,
ingratiate
Jeff.
yourself. All right, here.
Yeah, that was the first bit of emotions that we've seen from Johan Durant.
Yeah, I love it. And it really is uncharted waters. And it's kind of funny when you talk about a guy with, 6 national championships and just got inducted to the Hall of Fame. But these are uncharted waters. Not fully. There was a part where, Johan had to struggle with, Drew Broderick and just taking the offensive game out of his hands. And he's having to do it again here in a different way, but in a version that's longer and actually even harder to do some of the things like the cut spin, just their ability to defend all aspects of it. The hard ball, the cut overhead, their just ability to move, and then they sling it, and they got offense. Look at that. They can do it all.
Game, Regalado, Salazar. They lead the second set 2-1. Regalado, Salazar won the first set 6-3.
All right. So, Mike, it's still just a task there. We saw that bit of emotion, but still, the strategy's working for Regalado and Salazar.
Agree. I totally agree.
All right, so real quickly, I'm also going to mention Labor.
Hey, can we check? You'll get the lights on?
And Labor is your strategic talent partner for technology and transformation. Through Labor's strategic partnerships, the firm offers a range of talent services spanning advisory, niche staff augmentation, and executive search. And after saying that about Labor, I want to welcome Jeff Alpa, the North American president for Aon here. And Jeff, welcome to the booth.
Hey, Brad, thank you so much for having me. Excited to be here and excited to be here at this event. I'll tell you, we're delighted to be a sponsor, and I'll tell you, a sport like paddle tennis is growing in interest, and I'll tell you, requires a lot of strategic decision making around shot selection, as we're seeing here today on the courts, and some of the top women and men in the game at the highest level. So it's exciting to be here, and I'll tell you, this reflects a lot of what we do at Aon as we are helping our clients make better decisions around their risk capital and human capital needs. So excited to be here, Brad.
Well, that's great, and we truly appreciate you for the sponsors you've had here, and you're absolutely right. I've been reading that ad for Aon all day long and being going, this is so topical, because making decisions is such a part, and understanding different situations that arise is such a part of playing platform tennis. It's just a perfect marriage, so we appreciate all you've done for this event and for all your clients as well. And so what does Aon most focus on as an organization, Jeff?
So Brad, we're a global financial services organization with over 50,000 colleagues globally, and we are laser focused in risk capital and human capital, as these needs are on the minds of every CEO and business leader, not only in the US but globally. And I'll tell you, here in the U.S., many of them are involved with American Paddle Tennis Association, and we want to partner with companies to bring in and solve their most pressing challenges around risk and people.
Oh, that's truly amazing. So through your involvement here, and we talked about kind of how the marriage of what your business stands for and platform tennis work together. Is this your first platform tennis tournament?
Yeah, absolutely. So excited. I live here in Boston, and we're excited. The Boston area is excited to be hosting this event, and it's the first year for Aon to be the title sponsor, and these are some exciting matches as you look out. We're watching the semifinal match here, and the matches between the ladies as well as the men. They're at the top of their game, and it's so much fun to see these them battle away for a national championship.
Well, that's terrific. Well, we hope to get you out on the court someday, and you can enjoy this great sport of ours, and we truly appreciate all you've done for this organization and all that Aon does for its clients, helping people make better decisions. So that's terrific. And any final thoughts on?
Yeah, so listen, Brad, I'll tell you, Aon is so pleased to be part of the events here in Boston, and we look forward to a continued partnership, and hope for those of you that are listening that you'll reach out to your Aon contacts. We have amazing colleagues, over 50,000 colleagues from around the globe that are at the top of their game in helping our clients and some of the challenges that their organizations are facing. And if you're listening, our colleagues would love the opportunity to partner with you. And I want to say a big thank you to the American Paddle Tennis Association, a big thank you to my friends Nathaniel Mason and Jamie McCleary, the co-chairs of this event, and the entire team that worked to make this event successful, not only for Brookline, but also for the greater Boston area. And best of luck to all the players, and we have some exciting matches ahead. So thank you so much, Brad.
Well, Jeff, thank you, and thanks to Aon. And of course, Aon, they're in the business of making better decisions. So great. Kudos.
Excellent.
Thanks a bunch.
Thanks, Brad.
Good work there, Brad. Man, oh man. I think you only missed 1 point. Same point.
Yep.
Come back
Thanks,
and
Mike.
say
You
what
were
I missed.
track
Well,
for me? I
still love all.
Were you able to do any math in that
Yeah.
time frame? Help me out. How many balls have been hit?
Yeah, I did a little bit. I think we're up to 1,647.
There you go. I
But
think that's my cholesterol count. But yeah, it's a tough one. Because we've talked about it, it's just at this point, it's the mental battle. And we talked about that they're really not in control of this and all the things that are going on. And this quick strike, as much as we say they're lobbing every ball, and Jeff Mono's guest in here for a little bit was saying, like, they're just standing there not even looking at it. They actually are. They just are.
yeah, I would disagree with what he said.
Everything they do is like they kind of stand there laissez-faire at the net. They kind of stand there plopping around in the backcourt, but then suddenly they hit a quick lob and then they're just pouncing on that ball. What they're doing is it's just when they do it, it's so sudden and it's just out of the blue, and you've hit 8,000 other balls that you're already off the net because you can't keep closing in. You can't keep moving back. You're like just sitting there, and then they finally make this pouncing move. They are ready to drive. They're not looking to drive. They're just looking to drive suddenly. You know, like, and I still maintain that I think the strategy is for them to go back. I don't think it makes any sense because they are getting beat here at the net all the time, and this still is the same point. And, you know, you had mentioned before, you had said, Mike, that it's not in their DNA. Well, staying at the net and doing this also is not in their DNA. So they've already made the decision to not do things in their DNA. You can go back now and make the same decision. It doesn't really change. But I'd like to see them try to do back to Regalado and Set, to, you know, do it back to them. You know, and that's the trick, I think, for a lot of these guys. It's that they really are doing exactly what they want them to do. And at this game, I don't know that they can be better at it. You know, and there it was again. He's
won a ball like that.
He's looking to drive. He gets
absolutely
down, smashes the overhead at him, gets the winner. Again, they're at the net, though.
Yeah, and I think Jeff Morneau was a little wrong in that they're not even looking to drive. They're looking to drive the right balls. And, you know, for Johan and Steven to pull back and just say, okay, you're going to have to deal with our offense and from the backcourt when we get it, but otherwise trying to slow that game down and do what they're doing. Because, like, to your point, it ain't working what they're doing, you know, as of right now. They're down a set and a break, right? And we don't want to stick with a losing game plan.
Yeah, he hits that one. He gets it in the crease, but it's still just easily played, unless he's going to get it to go up the side wire. And there they are, just so good at tracing the ball down. They're ready. And their length is really something. It's the difference, you know. And Morneau made a great point before, though. It's, you know, there's the Drew Broddicks and the Tomas Christian. They played that match before where it was 100 balls. They bring out the hard overhead, and they're able to start turning it around. This is a different animal. These guys are long. They're tall. They get to these balls in a heartbeat and play offensive shots. They're not chasing these. They're stuffing these when they go hard overhead. And they're ready for them. Right. And as much as you can say they're just sitting there, they're not looking, they are. They're ready to move quickly in a moment's notice. They just have this hangdog look about them. You know what I mean? It's like it's just a hangdog look. It's not their hangdog. They're in a heartbeat. He's going to be.
Yeah,
boom.
It's kind of the Spanish version of a Peter Burka.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah,
you know, where they're in the backcourt.
They don't. On his side, yes. But even Burka, this level of it is, you know, different.
Yeah. But I watched Salazar. I think it was Salazar hit that serve, and I'm like, that's kind of like Burka's serve. He just kind of gets it in, and sometimes he changes the pace, but he's not looking for a major spin. But in the backcourt, they kind of float around the court.
All right, ball's long.
How many lobs? How many lobs did they miss long? Less than three, I think.
And the honest truth is you get lost in between, and we talked about these various ways. You get lost in the amount of balls they're making. And, you know, they're forcing a lot of mistakes, you know, from the other team when they're at the net. When Durant and they're picking their spots, and they are making them miss volleys. You know, this is the way to play. I wouldn't go in if I was Durant and Mitchell just for a while. I just wouldn't go in here. There's nothing to gain. Nothing to gain.
Yeah.
That's a killer when it's 40, luck 15. Is going against you too. That's too bad. And we talk about all these strengths and the skill sets that Durant and Mitchell have, right? You know, and so many are just taken away by the style. And you know, other commentators, Mark Fischel in the past, will say, you know, Durant and Mitchell are also a victim of their own success at being offensive, that people know they have to slow it down a little bit. And there's people who know and people who just can't do it for one reason or another. and because of their skill set. But these guys, they're taking it to like a really another level, you know, that is just giving nothing. And there they got a leg cord for a winner there, and these guys get a
Salazar,
ball bouncing
they
back
lead
on their
the
side.
second
So
set.
3-1 now
3
for
games to
Regalado.
And Brad, I think to further your point, it's not just grinding in the backcourt. They're grinding with lobs in the backcourt, but late in that last point, you know, Regalado hammered a two-hander.
Yeah.
And so they are willing to hit it, but they're waiting and hitting it on their terms, and they're hitting, you know, and they're doing a great job with it. So I think that's one of the reasons that Johan missed that last return, was the threat of that forehand coming when Salazar climbs up that double sideline. He tried to cut it a little too thin and missed it in the net.
But again, I'm not sure why they're not just going back. Just give up the net, because the success ratio just isn't there. You go back, you look at it, just give it up. Transitioning back is actually good for him. And these guys, yeah, there we go. That's it. Fine, give up the net. Make him run some more. I think this is smart. Don't stay at the net for more than 3 balls. Makes him reach.
Love 15.
Can't move in enough.
Ball is torched.
Yeah, it was torched. Oh, great lob. That's a beautifully placed cut overhead there. Oh, digging it out again. See, they're getting it. He's a late start on that, and he's still getting it. 2-3 strides. You know, these guys move the way Durant moved. You know how he would slide back, put his paddle underneath it. They got just all the tools.
And to the point that we're making too about them going back, the one thing that we haven't seen much of is their ability to hit Salazar and Regalado, their ability to hit winning or cut out nets. And
they really don't have it.
Why not? Right? So, I mean, if they're getting hurt here or hurting themselves at the net, I'd love to see a change.
Yeah, the other guys can't put it away when they're up at the net either. So that's why it's a good idea. And here he's actually doing a little damage in this point. It's still 100 balls later, and they're not out of it. He still could easily miss one of these overheads. But, you know, even with all that, and he's doing some work here on Regalado, it's still, you know, I can't imagine it might not be another 80 balls before he gets them. And it's likely that they're going to strike one first. There you go. He's got good hands. And I actually love some of the stuff he's doing.
There we go. Stir it up.
Go. Break out
Get the crowd going.
the kazoo. Everybody needs a kazoo in that place. What are those spinner things go? Rah, rah, rah. You know, you get one of those suckers.
Yeah. I thought you were going to say cowbell.
Cowbells? Oh, you know, when in doubt, there's always more cowbell needed. And there they get a missed drive. We've seen few and far between. But that's a 2-point run, which it's shocking to actually say it, but a 2-point run is actually a run. Right now. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Did he hit that or did it hit him? Unbelievable. I gotta see. Yeah, he's surprised he didn't just try to tag him with that. Unbelievable. He got his racket on that. It looked like it just went right up into his chest.
Off his chest. Yeah.
30-all.
That one was hit with a little steam on it.
Oh no, he was going hard in there. I mean, the amount of
And let's see if that kind of wakes
creates
and sparks a little fire here.
Yeah. They've done just such a good job of taking all the fire out of it. And like I said, they are still driving. They are not driving. They are looking for it. It's just on their terms, as you mentioned before. And I still don't see why they don't go back more, just because those guys didn't even bother coming in because they're only going to engage on their terms. Yeah, that's just good closing. That's vintage Durant, but still, the fact that they lob so much, it's so hard to. Part of anticipating that is, there's got to be a certain amount of rhythm or a drive rate that where getting in close matters. Getting in close isn't helping them, so he's volleying from off the net more often than not. And volleying from on the net is definitely a strength and a thing that separates Durant Mitchell from other teams, but these guys aren't giving it to him. They only drive when they're off the net. And that's just good paddle.
Yeah, I was going to say, don't you teach that?
Yeah. It's famous lines, I can do this all day. Is this all, like they can do this all day. A little shot there. And of course, as we were mentioning before, we still got the other mother semifinals that's going on. And there's a push wide, and again,
30-40.
Stay back. I guess we'll keep saying it. See if it gets through the airways. Just no success at the net, no ability to put the pressure on them. No point being there. I think you expend more energy at the net than you do on the backcourt, pushing up and back. And not only that, they're just not getting anything from it. And these guys aren't just hitting and missing drives. They're making 95% rate. And they're, I hate to say it, but that might be the match there.
Regalado, Salazar.
That was a big game. Look at that volley.
Yeah, incredible stuff.
Jose. Is that warm?
Do we have a fusion raid coming up here?
They're out.
(2023-24). In collaboration with the APTA, Fusion is at the forefront of personalized gear and apparel. Backed by a team of seasoned industry experts, we provide exclusive access to high-end products from top-tier retail brands, all poised for customization with your club logo, team name, or corporate branding. Our streamlined approach guarantees a hassle-free shopping experience, complemented by custom online storefronts and swift ordering. Visit www.gearbyfusion.com and let Fusion seamlessly weave your branding into elite merchandise.
Yeah, great stuff, that Fusion. A lot of brands they have available to them. And 4-1 here, for every game they get behind, the task seems more insurmountable. And like I said, I guess I've coined it the boa constrictor, but it does feel that way to me. They're just squeezing the life right out of them.
It's like the finish line, like you said, just gets pushed a little further away. And knowing what it takes to get there makes that task even harder. I mean, physically, mentally, you name it.
Do a quick shout out to my daughter, Sean. She's come to a ton of nationals over the years. Couldn't make this one.
40
Miss you
love.
here. She's tuning in back there and pulling for all the great athletes out there. Love you, Sean. Love you, Addie, too. You know, they always talk about things like a changing of the guard, you know, just inducted into the Hall of Fame. And, you know, I don't know how many more great matches and championships they've had. Hopefully it's a bunch more.
40-15.
You know, Durant's been a staple in the game for so many years. But these guys, Regalado, Salazar, they have had quite a year and jumped onto the scene. Salazar ended up second in the APTA Cup standings, taking home $5,000. Regalado didn't play enough of them. He missed, Salazar played almost all the tournaments. A couple with Nunez, a few other partners. And, you know, just incredible, impressive results. But together as a team, Salazar, Regalado have just been lights out. They're able to win. They beat a number of teams inside the top 10 all year long. A couple of tournament wins as well. Just incredible stuff. And they're sealing up, you know, and just working here. And no hint that they're going to give up their time, you know, like they're going to just go off the rails, I guess is the best way to say it. No hint they're going to go off the rails. And can you imagine any possibility at this point, and it's just almost shocking to have to say this, Mike, can you imagine a possibility where if these guys, if Regalado and Salazar don't go off the rails, where Durant and Mitchell can turn this thing around?
Based on the last hour and 2 hours, you know, and what we've seen, the inability to do it for the last 2 hours, it's I mean, even if you look at cut winners while they're at the net from one of the greatest players to ever hit a cut overhead, how many has he had?
Yeah,
I can think on
two.
one hand where he cut it and it landed short, and in the last game, I believe, and then he had a slash overhead into the neck, and maybe two others where he slashed it right at Salazar and got the back screen and the ball to slide into him. But
a little that cord, get the break.
Game.
If they get this game and they can get a little energy, the problem is Regalado and Salazar are so good at sucking that energy right back out. Oh, Mitchell has a move. And I like that he tried to win a quick point. Great hands there from Regalado. Oh, there's a loose ball. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Of all the shots we've seen, that's probably one of the loosest shots we've seen from them. And now it's deuce. Is there possibility of some life, of a miraculous comeback here? This would be a story. If this thing comes out of the fire for Durant and Mitchell, this would be kind of one to write in the journal, because I'd be shocked. But then again, you know, I guess I'd never be shocked.
Stranger things have happened,
yeah,
right?
exactly. I guess I'd never be shocked, but you know, so it would just go in there. But they'd have to take all the energy. It's a great lob, and they don't mind going back. See, that's one thing that they've been. I would actually say, look, they've been better in a lot of facets of the game, but they've been more willing to shift back, and that's been the key. And these guys are more willing to stay up, and it's just not successful for them.
I mean, those little chip, you know, just body blows when he's hitting those little chip probing drives. When you're off the net, you got to be so respectful of it. You know, we've even seen, you know, two of the greatest volleyers in the game miss some of those volleys just because they were a little bit, I guess, not focused.
Yeah, that's a great ball. He's lobbed so many. I think he missed it out.
Advantage, Durant.
Yeah. Hard for us to tell on our angle, but from the crowd reaction, it's definitely a full-out pro Durant Mitchell crowd here. And that scream will tell you right there all you needed to know. And this is the first moment where I've seen actually a couple of errors for Regalado and Salazar actually coming into play here. And 4-2 to 5-1 is a massive difference. If there's anything that's going to spark it, it's right here. What a huge moment. Oh! And goodness gracious, he's late on that. That looked like a meatball. His eyes got too big. Deuce.
Just overhit it just a smidge.
Oh, big. He got a little off balance, dragging back here. Another opportunity for Durant Mitchell. Same ball, better result. And if they're able to track this one down, this will be the absolute one moment where we've really seen a crack in a couple of things that Regalado and Salazar have been doing all day. Their discipline has been incredible. That's going to do it. That's just a great hold. He has tremendous hands.
Wow.
You couldn't see him hit it over there. It looked like he was going to push it straight, and he just flicks it right behind Durant, who was completely flummoxed by it.
Wow. Mitchell. Called it out. How was it? It was out. No, you went like this, didn't you? Yes. I called it out and I said what?
That was not a home court bounce. Flipped the left cord, went wide.
These are the last gasps here. They got another opportunity. To me, this is a must-win game. Oh, and they get some good fortune there, and that's a little uproar from the crowd because that's what they need. Despite all the other things, it's like all the energy's gone out of the room too, you know. And so until they get some good fortune, and here we see that let cord winner there. That's a huge moment, and there's a fifth one hanging around, waiting for some energy to come back. Yeah, these guys, they don't want to speed it up too much here. They want to go right back to what they're doing, the boa constrictor. Just keep it going. And that game was the first game where they missed 2 or 3 drives in that one, and that's what started that possible comeback. And that was a massive game. Gives a little life back to Durant and Mitchell.
See if they could build on it here.
Yeah, and what they were up 40-15 in that game too, right? Regalado Salazar.
Oh my God, that was so long ago.
Brain doesn't work. It's you stay with the short-term memory stuff.
Yeah.
Good move there from Regalado, and that's their bread and butter right there. Just slow play, and then quick foray, and then right back to slow play. You don't know exactly when it's going to come. As you mentioned before, it's on their terms, so that's the thing. And even that one right there, tricky shot. He's actually fading back, and he's lobbed 800, but all of a sudden he slaps it down. And what they got to start paying more attention to is where his paddle is. In that case, his paddle's up, so the drive's more likely to come. But either way, they're just doing a great job of mixing it up too. And as much as the balance of it is all lobs, you know, there's a lot of surprise elements to it.
Well, and it's the lobs that are, you know, creating, and it's like you've got to pick your, you know, are we going to defend the drive or are we going to hit our 100th overhead?
Yep, and that ball was out. Love 30 now. They got to stay close. And see, another great offensive play there on the blitz. Triple break point here. And great shot right into the corner. Randt can't come up with it. And one game from a spot in the finals. Regalado and Salazar try to serve their way into it.
You know, and it's amazing how mentally tough they are in the sense that, you know, they lost that big game at 4-1, but yet they bounce right back. And here they are, you know, 5-2, 1 point away from the finals of their, is this the first nationals that they played together, right?
Yep. And,
this
you know,
is impressive stuff.
Throughout this tournament, Mike, it's been that way. They have had moments where they've gone a little bit awry, but not long. They got it right back in, and they slot it right back into, we're going to give you nothing, and then we'll attack you on our terms right again. And as a consequence, they don't go for long periods, and that's why it's just so hard to even come back. They really do, you know, just kind of put you in a straitjacket. It's tough.
I love the boa constrictor. That is, I mean, very, very great descriptor of what's happening.
Yeah, you know, the funny thing is the boa constrictor, actually, a lot of it's actually misconstrued. What they do is actually they don't crush their opponents, they suffocate them. Every time you take a breath and you exhale, they squeeze more. So the next breath you get is less, and then the next one is less and less. And it's very apt to sort of what we're seeing out here. You know, it's just squeezing the life out of them. Okay. They could definitely use some let cords now. Any good fortune to come their way for Durant and Mitchell. You know, everybody was hoping for the fairy tale getting in Hall of Fame, greatest ever all the time. And that's been put in jeopardy by Regalado and Salazar right now. Them taking home the championship here at their home club. It was all scripted up in there, but these guys, I guess I have to call them upstarts. I have something to say about it. And there's a cut finisher from Durant. Few far between, but a great start to this game.
Love 40. 40.
All right. And there you see they have respect, but he goes right back at him. He's not keeping it away from Durant. He just goes.
Yeah.
30-40.
All right. 2 break points saved. They're going to keep marching on. And there's back to deuce. Wow, getting it from love 40 down to deuce. All right, last few breaths here maybe. Wow, right through the legs, and it is match point. Regalado and Salazar from love 40 down. That is it. Fist pumps, finals, ticket punched for Regalado and Salazar. 6-3, 6-2. Just incredible commitment to strategy. Unbelievable. What are your thoughts, Mike?
Boy, I'd heard you use the phrase masterclass in the last match, and that was a fantastic execution from start to finish. Shot making, but above all, decision making and commitment to, their game plan. So I tip my cap to, Regalado and Salazar. They played almost flawlessly. Congratulations to Durant and Mitchell.
Yeah, and anytime they're going off the rails,
just
they bring it right
amazing.
back.
Yeah, that's probably the most impressive thing. They never let that slide last more than 3-4 points. So, boy, I believe our next semifinal will be coming up shortly.
No, it's going on
so
right now
if
on
you're,
our YouTube channel, Mike. So
oh, is it?
Slide
okay.
right over there for Powers and Hughes against McNerney and Araya. So that's some more great action. And then tomorrow morning, as we mentioned before, the women's final, 10 a.m., followed by the men's final at 1 p.m. That was a real pleasure calling that with you, Mike.
Yes, Brad, thanks for having me. And I guess that's a wrap from semifinals, 24 nationals. Thank you, Brad. And we'll be watching that finals tomorrow.
All righty, terrific.
What I love most about the Volley machine is I can come down here and work on my game when I can't find friends.
Volley and I have been dating for several months now, and things are getting pretty serious.
My favorite thing about the Volley trainer is to be able to work on the target, contact window, and tool all in my vision.
My favorite shot with the Volley trainer is the push volley.
I really love the video feature of the Volley machine. It has really helped me improve.
Hi, my name is Macy Elliott, and my tip of the week is on your roller. A lot of times when I see people hit rollers, they tend to go over the ball because they want to bring it down and create more spin. But when you do that, you're actually going to create a lot of pressure on your elbow. So a lot of times when people get tennis elbow, it's from that. Instead, I want you to go straight up on the ball and pretend like you're going to finish all the way up with your knuckles to your ear. This upward motion will create more spin and it will grab less of the ball than if you were to go over it. If you grab too much of the ball, you don't get as much spin and it's not quite as effective versus going straight up the back and finishing up by your ear. I'm Macy Elliott. Hope you enjoyed this tip of the week. I'll see you on the courts.